Hello, I hope you're doing great. Today, we are going to continue talking about Blazor WASM or WebAssembly size. Now, before we continue, please remember to visit fairplaytube.bdicostarica.com, click the Buy Me a Coffee icon, and select a donation of your preference. This will help us keep the videos and products free for you. Okay, so let's start. Um, so there's always a trend or comments on which technologies to use, which one no, and there are always going to be persons who will say bad things about other technologies, right? Or say only the bad things without telling you everything, right? Um, and that's actually the case of what's happening on Blazor. Or actually from a lot of people who are anti-Blazor. One of the common comments that you find for people saying that Blazor is bad is that they tell you that it downloads some DLLs, right? Now, let's see the full truth, right? So this is a Blazor WebAssembly website. It's only a Blazor WebAssembly. It doesn't have the core. It doesn't have the API part. It's just the client application. And now you will see that if I refresh this application in here, I cannot find any DLL, right? I'll refresh it again and see that I have this disabled cache and I have this empty cache and hard refresh, right? So as you can see in here, there are no DLLs, right? And now, why is that? Okay, before we see that, let's see something else. This is the Angular website, right? And one of the things that we have to learn or to be aware of is that the applications are not just the scripts. The applications are, or web applications, pretty much any application, are set of different kind of resources, right? In web, usually we'll have the HTML pages, the Java's the scripts, right? The CSS, with these style sheets, right? Um, the images, the icons, the fonts, and a lot other, a lot more of other set of resources, right? It depends on how your application behave. The other thing that you need to know is that what you are downloading in here is not always everything your application is using. Why is that? Applications tend to use local storage, session storage, and cache, right? So if you go to the application, you will see that, for example, the Angular website, it actually uses cache storage to cache certain resources, right? So you can see that in here we have this explain, right, our latest manifest, right? In here we see that we have icons, JavaScript, right? HTML. In here that we have fonts, right? We have a lot of stuff in here, and in here we have images. Now, the good thing about it is that it is downloaded only the first time you load the application, unless those resources somehow change, right? Okay, so basically the applications will usually take a little bit longer to load the first time you use them or use it because it has to download the resources that it hasn't cached before, right? However, the subsequent times that you use the applications, it will be faster depending on how many and how fast it depends on how many resources you have in there, right? Um, but it will usually be way faster than the first time because it will get the resources from the cache. Now, these are a lot of images, right? PNG, SVG, and JPEG, I believe might have in here. I'm not sure. And images actually tend to be a little bit big because they are binary format, I would say, right? And they are images. They have a lot of information, like the pixels, right? The height, the width, how the pixels are represented, the colors, and all of that, right? So it's a lot of information. So it actually makes sense to cache those resources, right? Especially if they are not going to change frequently. Okay, let's go back to Blazor. So, as I was saying, a lot of people actually tell you that Blazor has to download a lot of DLLs in order for it to work. That's half the truth, right? They are telling you that, which is right, but they are not telling you everything, okay? So, as you can see, I downloaded this application and I didn't get any DLL downloaded this time, right? This is because I had already loaded this website before. Blazor uses the same caching technique for the DLLs, right? And as you can see, I have in here this cache storage, and it says Blazor resources. And as you can see, it has a lot of DLLs with DLLs with weird names. So you see there is like the framework, the name of the DLL, and after that it has a hash, right? So what's the deal with that? Here's the deal. So Blazor uses the cached files if they are in there. So it does not download them again if they haven't changed, right? So as you can see, the file hashes of the cache files are compared to the hashes in the blazor.put.json file. For cache files with a matching hash, Blazor uses the cached files. Otherwise, files are requested from the server. After a file is downloaded, its hash is checked again for integrity validation, and an error is generated by the browser if you download files, if any download files integrity check fails, right? Which it usually shouldn't happen. Now, let's see which DLLs are in here. DLLs that we have in here are components.webassembly.dll. That file will not change unless you change the package version, right? The Nuket package version or the um, framework version. ASP.NET Core Components.dll, same thing. It will not change unless you change the reference or the Nuget package or anything for it to change, right? Configuration abstractions, JSON configuration JSON DLL, configuration.dll, dependency injection.abstractions. Those files will not change unless you manually change them somehow in your project. That means that the subsequent times that you load this application, those will be the same. They will not change, right? Uh, so as you can see, these are pretty much all framework related DLLs, which will not change unless you manually change them somehow. So that's the reason why I was able to empty this cache and load the application without downloading any DLLs again. They are cached and they do not change frequently, meaning that my application will load faster the subsequent times. Sorry. Only the first time the application is downloaded, the DLLs are going to be downloaded. Thank you very much. I hope this video has been useful and have a great day.